Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Darrell Owens, and we are getting prepared for episode 110 of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Very excited. Very excited for this episode. Um, the Power Rankings edition, week 6, where we're grinding away into the NFL season, and we've got a our second week of buys. No Packers or Steelers this week, so it will be 15 games total. We start tonight with the Chiefs and the Broncos. The Broncos 1-4, Chiefs 4-1, as they head into Arrowhead to see if they can get their second win of the year. And the Broncos, have had some struggles. We'll see how that ends up going. But the Chiefs are looking to continue their win streak. They lost game 1 and they've been rolling since then. But we're going to get into the power rankings. We got the bottom all set for you. We got the outside looking in. We got the top 10, the finale, all that good stuff coming to you now on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, as well as Bowie Television. Let's go ahead and get it started. One-on-one power rankings, week 6 here on Bowie Television and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Let's get it.
One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Well, we're glad to be able to bring you episode 110 of One-on-One here on the Legacy Makers Sports Network. The power rankings, this is week 6, and so we're going to get into all of that. And it was a fun week in the NFL, but every week in the NFL is fun. Anytime that you can see some football. I got my first Red Zone Sunday, as I like to call it. Normally on Sundays, I'm, traveling and checking out Commanders football and figuring out and covering the Commanders for Bowie Television. And so usually when I'm out there, I'm running and gunning. So this Sunday, because they played last Thursday, I had a chance to sit back, watch the Red Zone, catch up on some games, fuss at the TV, but definitely a fun Red Zone Sunday. And I can't wait for November the 12th for Red Zone Sunday too. And then we got one in December. So, but besides that, you'll see me running around at Commanders football games, trying to see if they can get themselves out of the hole. But let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. We're going to go ahead and start off with the bottom. Get into the bottom. And this week in the bottom, like I said, there's a little bit of fluctuation over the last couple of weeks from the bottom and the inside and outside looking in. So it's been flipping back and forth between some teams. Well, let's start where we start, and that's with the worst team in football on a records basis, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Carolina last week, unfortunately, just could not get a win against an extremely tough, high power. I never thought I would put all these in the same sentence, but a tough, high powering offense that is the Detroit Lions. They have been cruising. The Lions look great. Jared Goff looks fantastic. He's definitely looking like the number one. Like he was drafted number 1 back in 2016. He definitely has the look of a franchise quarterback. He is doing all he can out there for the Lions. The Panthers, on the other hand, with their number 1 pick, Bryce Young, things have been a little rough for Bryce Young to get started. But, I mean, some people think in this day and age that you got to come right out there and be the best thing since sliced cheese right off the bat. And I think we've gotten into a spot where that's almost automatic in a lot of people's eyes. But Young, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. A lot of growing pains. A lot of growing pains for the Carolina Panthers, and it's a tough start. But if you're the team that, well, technically was supposed to draft 9 last year, but you trade up to get your franchise quarterback, there's going to be some struggles. good to see Adam Thielen, still looking like Adam Thielen. Probably playing better than he did in Minnesota last year with 11 receptions, 107 yards, and a TD. This team continues to, try to figure it out. Frank Wright and the crew, we'll see if things, get on the right track and they can get win number one here soon. Carolina at 32. At 31, the New York Football Giants. Whew, boy, it's tough. New York has been one of those teams where they could easily be 0-5. Arizona let them off the hook, and that's the reason why they have one victory right now. That Giants team just doesn't look good. Daniel Jones got hurt, so it didn't get any better in that game against a very high-powered Dolphins team. I'll be honest with you. I thought the Dolphins would score at least 60. I thought it would be bad. I thought it would be real bad for the Giants because they just don't seem like they have it. No Saquon Barkley, and it shows. I don't know how much help Saquon would have been, but in this one, they definitely miss him, and they haven't been able to figure it out. So right now, the Giants are still struggling and straggling near the bottom here. We got them at 31. At 30, getting their first win of the year, the Chicago Bears, and not just in whatever fashion. They came out there and they jumped on the Commanders, and it was ugly. They had the Commanders 27-3 at the half, and I was there at this game, and I had a chance to sit on the sideline and watch Justin Fields just pick apart this Commanders defense, which this Commanders defense has given up a lot of points this season. In the first game, only gave up 10. And that defense saved them in that first game against Arizona. They could easily be 1-4 themselves the way Arizona played in that first game. And, we got them 23 right now, but it's a rough looking 23 for the Commanders. The Bears came out here and they just dog stumped the Commanders. And the Commanders did kind of bring it back a little bit. It was 30-20 at one point. They were driving, had a chance to bring it within 3. The Bears stopped them. They ended up kicking, or at least attempting to kick a Joey Sly field goal, which he missed. And then the Bears would tack on some more points from there to win this one 40-20. And it was just a very impressive day by Justin Fields and DJ Moore. DJ Moore had 8 receptions for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I got lucky enough to catch DJ Moore on some of his amazing touchdown plays. It was tough. But as soon as I heard, and I'll say this before we move on to the next one, as soon as I heard right before the game that Dick Buckus had passed away, I said, there's no way whatsoever that Chicago Bears are losing this game. If the NFL script is a real thing, there's no way. And it proved me right this time. The Bears get win number 1. They could easily be 2-3. They almost beat Denver last week, who's sitting at 28 this week. So Chicago, who knows, maybe getting things on the right foot and see what they can do this week. At 29, we got the Patriots. It's been a really tough go for the Patriots in the last 2 games. They lost 38-3 against the Cowboys last week, and then they get shut out against the Saints at home, of all places. They got shut out at home, 34-0. I mean, just nothing. It was just bad all the way through. We're starting to hear whispers of, is it time for Bill Belichick to take that step and walk away? Which I thought, in his caliber of coaching / GM and whatnot, I feel like he should be able to walk away on his own terms. But the way things are looking right now, if you're Bob Kraft, you really might want to sit and think about what you want to do here with this organization, because things do not look good. And Mac Jones has been benched the last 2 weeks. Even though they were out of the game, it was benched, and they brought in Zappy. I didn't think New England would be this bad or look this bad. I thought New England would be one of those middle-of-the-road teams because they're always usually tough because you got Bill Belichick coaching you. But it hasn't looked that way. Patriots at 29. At 28, the Broncos. The Denver Broncos. Well, how can I put this? It's rough. They had their chances against the Jets. I did pick the Jets to win this game. I thought the Jets defense would be the deciding factor in this one. And, you're watching this Broncos team implode in front of your eyes. If we thought the Russell Wilson project would be this bad, I just would not have seen it. And I still think Russ can play. I just don't know. I just don't know if this is the right situation for him. but I don't know. I mean, we heard some things from our man Marshawn Lynch earlier this week on Club Shay Shay on Shannon Sharp's podcast. He talked about how Russ was not, the most welcoming guy per se, or in just kind of paraphrasing there, but it's they've got to figure it out in Denver, or they're going to be picking in the top 5, which I think some Denver fans are already screaming for Caleb already. We got the Broncos at 28. At 27, the Cardinals. The Cardinals are their team that, for me, they were in the mix. They were down 24-20 heading into the fourth. And then the Bengals scored 10 unanswered, and they were able to win the game 34-20. But the Cardinals hung in there. It was actually a really good game up until the fourth. But I like this Cardinals team still. I still think they're going to be one of the most competitive teams throughout the year, because that's what they've shown so far in the first 5 games. Some of the games haven't quite gone their way, but they're a team to me that could easily be 3-2. So much love to them. But the Bengals got back on the right foot. Joe Burrow looked good. Joe Mixon looked good. Jamar Chase, the Triple J's out there in Cincinnati, looking great. Jamar Chase, 15 receptions for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. Mixon carrying the rock for 81 yards. And then Burrow, despite the injuries and, the whispers that are starting to rumble, he had 3 touchdowns and an interception with 317 yards. So, but the Cardinals, I still like what I've seen. I like the way Josh Dobbs has played this year. Marquise Brown, those guys, they don't have any quit. So I like the Cardinals at 27. I wish they were higher, because I was hoping they were winning, but it is what it is. At 26, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 1-4. They've had a really tough schedule, though, right off the bat. And those close games that they were winning last year, they're not winning those games this year. Lost a close one to the Bucks, lost a close one to the Eagles, lost a close one to the Chiefs. They did beat the Panthers last week, and that's just kind of how things have been going. I lost a close one to the Chargers. It's just like the complete reversal of last year. Kirk Cousins has played phenomenal. He's in the top 2-3 in passing yards, touchdowns. He's played great. That's why you hear the rumors about him potentially getting traded before week 8, but it's looking really rough right now for the Vikings. But the Chiefs are starting to pick things back up, and the champs are not playing around. The Vikings are at 26. At 25, the Green Bay Packers. And this, I probably should put them lower. They truly disappointed me on Monday night. And offensively, they just couldn't get anything going. I think they did enough on the defensive side to win the game. Losing a tough one, 17-13. They made a couple of big plays. Love hit Watson on a deep one, and it looked like they were about to, go up 17-10. And the Raiders defense held strong, made the Packers kick a field goal, and then they ended up going down the field and scoring a touchdown. And the Packers had the ball late, and then Jordan Love threw a late pick. 3 interceptions for Jordan Love. But I'm not going to get too deep into this, because if you want to go a little bit more in depth into that, you can watch Green and Gold over Everything, episode 6, which aired yesterday. So you can go back and take a peek at that. Packers at 25. 24, the Raiders. Great game by the Raiders. Max Crosby doing his thing. They're 2-3 now. It still wasn't pretty. Garoppolo threw a pick himself. It just wasn't pretty overall, but they got the win. And that's all that really counts. We got the Raiders at 24. At 23, the Commanders. We talked extensively on how rough things were for the Commanders against the Bears. I will say this. The team seems like they've lost the passion on the defensive side of the ball, and that's something that's got to be fixed. And then they've got to find a way to give Sam some proper time to throw the football. I still think Sam sometimes, does get in his way trying to, make some maneuvers, but I think a lot of that is just trust issues with the line. They've got to figure that out. Washington's at 23. At 22, the New York Jets. They get a win over the Broncos, like we talked about. Zach Wilson didn't play a miserable game, didn't play a great game neither, but he had 199 yards and 1 interception, no touchdowns. Breece Hall. Oh, man, Breece Hall was amazing. 22 carries, 177 yards, and a TD, helping that Jets team get a victory. And also shout out to Bryce Hall, former UVA Cavalier, getting that scoop and touch the scoop and fumble recovery and scoop, whatnot. I think I destroyed that. But getting the scoop and taking it to the end zone to give the Jets a lead and kind of hang on to that thing. The Jets are 22. At 21, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are. I still think they're a mystery to me. I mean, tough game against the Colts. Colts end up winning, but they're still kind of a mystery to me. I got them at 21 because I feel like from week to week, you never know what you're going to get. I know that sounds crazy, but they'll beat a really good team. You're like, wow, the Titans, and then they'll play a team. You're like, you shouldn't lose that game. Now the game they played this week, I felt like they deserved. They lost. Zach Moss had a great day. 23 carries, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it was good to see DeAndre Hopkins kind of get back into form. He had 8 receptions, 140 yards for the Titans. But when you got Zach Moss killing it up and down the field for the Colts, tough day for the Titans overall, but we got them at 21 this week. So that's the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. You got the Panthers, Giants, Bears, Patriots, Broncos, Cardinals, Vikings, Packers, Raiders, Commanders, Jets, and the Tennessee Titans. So that's where we kind of stand right now on the bottom. I tell you, that thing fluctuates from week to week. It's always something interesting. But now we head into the outside looking in. Outside looking in, seeing where we stand here, who's the top 20 or 20 to 11 here on the outside looking in. At number 20, the Houston Texans. I thought the Texans were going to win this weekend, and they would have themselves positioned for a top 10 appearance. Probably would have had them at 11 if they had won this week, but they still played well enough to win. But Atlanta toughed it out. As you can see, Atlanta at number 13 this week with a tough win over 2 young teams that are playing, fairly solid football right now. Maybe not over the top or, underneath or whatnot, just right in the middle, good, solid, the outside looking in football for both the Texans and the Falcons. I thought, Desmond Ridder, who is, undefeated at home in college, I think in high school too, but at least college and NFL, he hasn't lost a home game. And they play at home this week, which I'll be heading to Atlanta to cover the Commanders and the Falcons. And, we'll see if the Falcons can get another Desmond Ridder victory at home or if the Commanders can spoil that. So we'll see. But the Texans, C.J. Stroud and the crew looking phenomenal for the most part. I really like what I'm seeing in Houston. I know it's a process there, but I think that D'Amico Ryans has got everything in the right direction. I really like what they got going on in Houston. 2-3, I know, but I think they're going to surprise some people here throughout the season. Texans at 20, Falcons at 13. At 19, the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams played really well against the Eagles. Now, the Eagles pulled away late, but it was a 17 to 14 game heading into the fourth before the Eagles scored and kind of pulled away a little bit, but the Rams still had chances and opportunities. The Rams played them tough. They played them really tough in this contest, and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp at the same time. The Rams seem like they've got themselves a nice little 1-2 punch with those two, enough so that they traded Van Jefferson on Tuesday to the Falcons. So, we'll see what type of impact that Jefferson makes with the Falcons this weekend. But Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp look like a dangerous combo for the Rams. So I like this Rams team. I really thought they would be a little bit worse this season, but they found ways to look good throughout. Rams at 19. At 18, the Cincinnati Bengals. Talked about them a little earlier. They getting their win over the Cardinals, having them at 18 right now. They're still trying to get their mojo back, but I like what I've seen from the Bengals last week. See if they can continue that this week against Seattle. That should be a really good matchup this weekend. And then we have the Browns. Browns didn't play last week. They stay in the midst there at 17. The Chargers, the same thing, didn't play last week. They had a bye, so we have them sitting kind of in the middle there. And then we have the Ravens. The Ravens lost the game against Pittsburgh, which it was just an ugly affair. It's a classic Pittsburgh Baltimore matchup. I wouldn't expect anything less in this matchup. I don't think personally I can remember a time that they had high scoring contest between the two. I'm pretty sure it's in there, but usually it's a knockout, drag out fight. No matter who's playing, who's quarterback, and who's whatever, it just always seems to be one of those type of games. And the Steelers, who were, they were down 10-3 at the half, scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to win this game 17-10. And, I'll say this real quick. Hey, man, can y'all catch the ball for Lamar Jackson out there? Whew, boy, that was tough. Bateman dropped the pass in the end zone. You had Zay Flowers dropping passes. It was a rough day. Mark Andrews, most reliable receiver. It was a tough day for the Ravens. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back. Steelers on the bye this week. At 15, excuse me, not at 15. At 14, the Saints got their win against the Patriots, dominating 34-0. And in that contest, you saw Carr, like I said, it wasn't sexy, but 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kamara's getting back into his form with 22 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. And Michael Thomas, 4 receptions and 65 yards. But I think the Saints, they played it really well. The defense was phenomenal in this one for the Saints. And I think that's going to be their calling card throughout the season is that defense. And if the offense can, kind of get in the groove, they're going to be more dangerous as the season goes along. Saints at 14. At 13, we talked about the Falcons and their win over the Texans, a late one, a nice victory for the Falcons as they are sitting there at 13. They're getting closer to knocking back into that top 10. So Young Hoku with the walk-off field goal to win it for the Falcons and put them in this position. So they got a chance to go 4-2 this weekend if they can beat the Commanders. Falcons at 13. At 12, the Indianapolis Colts. A pleasant surprise for the Indianapolis Colts. They're playing, tough football right now. Another tough day for Anthony Richardson as he injures his shoulder, AC joint type thing. Same thing that we saw from Derek Carr a couple of weeks ago. So it's one of those things that if you're the Colts, you have to be happy that you have a really solid backup quarterback, probably one of the at least the top 5 backup quarterbacks in the league in Gardner Minshew. In some cases, Gardner Minshew will be a great starter for somebody's team. But with that being said, the Colts get the win, and they are in the lead in the division, or tied for the lead in the division with the Jaguars. The Jaguars got the edge because they beat the Colts earlier this year. So Colts at 12. At 11, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys could be further down on this list. I still like their defense, and I think was the one thing that kind of gives me hope on them. Now, they did not look good. That defense didn't look good. That offense didn't look good against San Francisco. Whew, boy, San Francisco special, man. Brock Purdy, the boys, Kittle. I thought he was starting to fade away. He gets 3 touchdowns in this one. I did not expect this game to be this bad. I thought maybe they beat them by 10, but if you'd have told me the 49ers beat them by 32, I wouldn't have completely believed it, but I do understand it. So there it is. There is our outside looking in. Texans, Rams, Bengals, Browns, Chargers, Ravens, Colts, Chargers, Ravens, Saints, Falcons, Colts, and the Cowboys. So there is our outside looking in. Let's go ahead and break into the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. This week, first we start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A nice win. They've beaten the Browns, who have been very competitive in that division. They've beat the Ravens, and they currently have the lead in the AFC North. Didn't see that coming, but it is early, and the teams are kind of just beating up on each other so far. But the Steelers won a nice little victory. Pickett comes back. Him and Pickens connecting out there, making things happen. Steelers are at 10. They got a bye this week, so they're in a pretty good position right now. At number 9, the Buffalo Bills went over to London to take on the London Jaguars. And look, when the London Jaguars are playing, they're a tough team to beat. I don't know what it is. They go to London more than anybody. The Jacksonville Jaguars do, but the London Jaguars, special team. Trevor Lawrence and the crew going out there, getting the dub, and winning 25-20 over Josh Allen. But the last time these two teams played, guess who won? Jacksonville. And that one, Jacksonville wasn't even really all that good. So, hey, it's just, when defensive Josh Allen goes up against offensive Josh Allen, defensive Josh Allen gets the dub. So Jaguars, who are number 8 this week in the top 10, they're kind of getting their groove back after a rough start. They were 1-2 heading into London. Now they're 3-2 and leading the AFC South. Bills at 9, Jaguars at 8. At number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't play last week, but sitting in prime position with a chance to move up maybe a little further in this top 10 in the next couple of weeks. They got number 6 on our power rankings, the Lions this week. So that's a fun game. And y'all may be surprised who I picked in that one, but, hey, it is what it is. At number 5, the Seahawks. They didn't play this week, but the Seahawks have played really good football. Only loss coming to a very tough Rams team, but I like the Seahawks sitting at number 5. Number 4, the Miami Dolphins beat up on the Giants, and Tua, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. A little rough day on that end, but they still they just outclassed the Giants. Tyreek Hill had 8 receptions for 181 yards and a TD. I'm destroying names, but the young running back for Miami, 11 carries, 151 yards and a TD. Miami still looks crisp. Even after the beatdown from Buffalo last week, they still look crisp. We got them at number 4. At number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs won 4 straight games. They're getting back in their groove. They're looking pretty solid right now. The Chiefs are at 3. At number 2, one of 2 5-0 teams in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles getting their win over the Rams. Hurts had 303 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Then he also led the team in rushing with 15 carries and 72 yards and a TD. A.J. Brown had 6 receptions and 127 yards. Watching the guys kind of do their thing, the defense, kind of stepped up big late for the Eagles. But the Rams are a tough team, and if they continue to play this way and they make the playoffs, they're going to be a problem for a team in the playoffs. So Eagles at 2. At number 1, and this is easy for me, and that's that's the San Francisco 49ers. I said it this week in a post after the game was over on Sunday that they are the cream of the crop. They just look good. Special teams, defense, offense, it just looks clean. Brock Purdy, and I'm going to say this before I move on, but Brock Purdy has a lot of Tom Brady tendencies. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. He just has Tom Brady tendencies. Love what I'm seeing from him right now. Perfect as a starter during the regular season, just killing the game. 4 touchdowns for him, 252 yards. 3 of those touchdowns going to George Kittle, who looks like he had a bounce-back game. And, look, they just look good. And Brock Purdy looks good. The San Francisco 49ers look good. To me right now, they are the team to beat in the NFL. They are number 1 on our power rankings for the 4th week, I believe. So, congratulations to the 49ers. So, it's Steelers, Bills, Jaguars, Bucks, Lions, Seahawks, Dolphins, Chiefs, Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers in our top 10 this week. And that is our power rankings for week 6 or heading into week 6. So, all right, everyone, that's it. Episode 110 of 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Once again, I thank everybody for tuning in, watching us on our YouTube channels, our social media pages, as well as Bowie TV. All our Bowie TV listeners, I hope that you enjoyed the Power Rankings this week. And believe me, if you have anything you want to say on the Power Rankings or you think that somebody should be somewhere else, please let me know. I love to come and read some of what you got going on there. But anyway, once again, everybody, thank you all. We'll be back next week for episode 111 or episode 111 here as we get ready for week 7. So we're cruising right along here on 101 and very excited to bring you more action next week and more power rankings next week. So once again, everybody, I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, Bowie Television. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the